Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? This is Zen from Zen World, and I hope you're having a great day. So we are back with Chapter 7 of Mashle, and Mashle is just amazing in itself. It's a simple read, it's not hard to get into, and last time what happened on Mashle, it left off with Mash being inducted to play a game named Duello or Duolo, and it's a kind of representation of students who go on a broom and they use their magical abilities in order to ride it, but there isn't any magical spells, right? So think about it like soccer in the sense of trying to get from goal to goal. Now, it starts off with Marshall basically telling his team or his dorm that I can't ride a broom, right? So he makes that very clear. And then we get a scene or a couple of panels on the day before where a student who's part of the dorm named Tom, and he's a very high energetic person who's very spunky and motivational at the same time. Because one of the things that I saw from this character is that Marshall describes him as dense, but I describe him as very motivational, right? So one of the things he says is you can't spell life without fire, right? So it's really funny because yes, like what are you talking about? And Marshall is also like this guy is like really like out of this world. He must be taking something. But in a sense, Tom is he's a popular guy, but in no way is he a popular stereotypical person who's a bully at the same time. He's a popular motivational type of person or a leader itself. And so in the game itself, we skip back to the day after where they're playing the game, and Tom comes over to Marshall and says like, what are you doing? Are you going to leave us hanging? Like, I wanted you to be a part of this game because you've done so well in the past, so I want you to play. And Marshall's like, but I can't, he's trying to tell him, but at the same time, Tom is like, you have to put in your all your effort. This is what I'm doing here, and we need to band together and stick together. So another member from the other opposing dorm room knocks Tom over, right? And breaks something. Tom says like, I feel like something is broken. So Marshall's, kind of invigorated by this in a sense, but he still has a stoic face, and he he jumps all the way up, like really high with his with the broom. So at first I'm like, oh, he's just gonna like keep on jumping. So he starts pedaling his legs like really fast. So think about it like in the water when someone's like trying to swim, so they're pedaling their legs really fast. But for Marshall himself, he's floating in the air, right? He's propelling through the air and just moving, trying to create momentum with his legs in order to overcome the ability to or the non-ability to fly in itself. So that's pretty cool. And Marshall gets one of the balls and he's asking everyone what's the physics, and they basically tell him you just gotta aim it, throw it, boom, and that's it. So he gets the point. They basically win the game, and it's really amazing because Tom sees them later, right? And Tom didn't break anything. He's able to walk, he's able to move, and Tom walks up over to him and then gives him the biggest hug, and it's just kind of a congratulation. And you could see that people are starting to respect Marshall because in the beginning of the duello or duolo, they were throwing garbage at him and like, if you don't want to be here, get out of here. But at the time, Marsh couldn't fly, so it's not like he didn't want to do anything; he just couldn't. And when he got that, when people were apologizing to him in the crowd, saying like, "Sorry, we threw garbage at you. It's really amazing," things of that nature. So it's really cool to see how Marshall is starting to connect and overcome the magical world using his physical abilities itself. Whether or not they seem illogical, it's a manga, so it's meant to seem creative and magical in its sense, right? So we do get a final panel with a character that I I believe we've seen in the second chapter itself, but basically he's kind of reminiscent on how Marshall was able to make it this far so far, essentially. So if I was to rate this chapter, I would give it an 8 out of 10. It's the inclusion of a new character as Tom was pretty cool, and I could see how things are starting to move forward in terms of momentum. That later on, certain characters will uh, get on the same side of Mosh himself. So With that being said, this is Zen from Zen World saying peace, love, and prosperity. Hope you enjoyed this rundown and review from Marshall, and I'll catch you all later on the next one. Take care, everyone.